Welcome to the Biomedix 510K submission series, your guide to navigating each step of the FDA process with confidence using eSTAR. This content is educational and not a substitute for regulatory or legal advice. Always consult FDA guidance and a qualified expert for your device strategy.
Welcome back to our 510K series featuring FDA eSTAR submissions and pre-subs. In this video, we'll guide you through when and how to include clinical or animal testing in your 510K. We'll also explain how to present your biocompatibility summary in line with ISO 10993-1. Most importantly, we'll show you how the FDA's eSTAR template streamlines these submissions, guiding you step by step to meet FDA expectations, including those from ISO 14971. Let's dive in. Clinical and animal performance testing. Not every 510K requires clinical or animal studies. These in vivo studies become essential when bench testing alone can't fully demonstrate safety or effectiveness. For instance, if your device uses a novel material, interacts with the body in a new way, or has a complex delivery method, the FDA may expect in vivo evidence. Within eSTAR, you'll find dedicated non-clinical studies and clinical studies sections. This is where you'll summarize and upload your test data. Good laboratory practices, GLP. If you're submitting animal studies, the FDA expects you to follow good laboratory practices, GLP, especially for final safety studies. This means carefully choosing your animal model, clearly defining the study's goal, and thoroughly explaining how the device was tested and the observed outcomes. If GLP isn't feasible, the FDA allows a waiver, but only with a strong scientific justification. Either way, eSTAR will prompt you to confirm your GLP status and upload your rationale. Linking to Risk Management ISO 14971. 1. Remember, every clinical or animal test should directly address a residual risk identified in your risk management file. This is where ISO 14971 comes in. Your study must be driven by risk. What risk are you resolving? What evidence will reduce it to an acceptable level? How does this link back to your device's safety and performance claims? If you're unsure whether a study is needed, consider a pre-submission with the FDA. eSTAR includes a pre-sub template that allows you to share your plan early and avoid costly missteps later. Reporting results in eSTAR. So, how do you report clinical or animal study results in eSTAR? Start by providing a concise summary, objective, method, and key findings. Then, explain how these results support your device's safety and effectiveness. Think of it as, here's what we tested, here's what we found, here's why it matters. You'll then upload the full protocol, rationale, and final report. Use tables, histology images, and summary data to effectively support your findings. The key takeaway: every claim must trace to a test, and every test must link to a risk. eSTAR helps you clearly document this linkage. Biocompatibility. Now, let's talk about biocompatibility, one of the most critical safety elements in your submission. And yes, eSTAR has a dedicated section for it, aligning perfectly with ISO 10993-1 and the FDA's final guidance for U.S. submissions. Risk-based evaluation. Biocompatibility begins with a risk-based evaluation. What materials contact the body, for how long, and in what way? The FDA expects you to assess the final sterilized device because additives, processing aids, and residuals all play a role. You'll need to list all your materials, identify the contact type, skin, mucosal, blood, and the contact duration, limited, prolonged, or permanent. Then, determine which biological endpoints apply, like cytotoxicity, sensitization, or systemic toxicity, using the FDA-adapted test matrix as your guide. Minimizing animal testing. It's important to remember, the FDA doesn't want unnecessary animal testing. Whenever possible, replace in vivo tests with chemical characterization and toxicological risk assessment. This means testing within the frameworks of ISO 10993-18 for characterization and ISO 10993-17 for toxicology. These can often reduce or even eliminate the need for in vivo testing, provided you offer proper justification. This justification must be thoroughly documented in a biological evaluation report. Biocompatibility and risk management. This is where ISO 14971 and ISO 10993-1 intersect. The standard explicitly states, biological evaluations must be conducted within a risk management process. So, your biological evaluation is essentially an extension of your risk management plan. It's not just about testing, it's about justification. What are the risks? What data addresses them? What acceptance criteria are you using? Inside eSTAR, you'll use an interactive table to summarize each test. For each one, explain what was tested, how it was tested, the results, and why they meet your acceptance criteria. If you reference supplier data or master files, eSTAR includes fields to list them and provide access details. The key here is transparency. Show your test rationale, show your risk linkage, and show your logic. Common mistakes and key takeaways. Let's quickly cover some common mistakes to avoid. First, using outdated test reports that don't reflect the final sterilized product. Second, ignoring long-term or repeated exposure risks. Third, failing to tie each test back to your device's materials, use case, or contact conditions. And perhaps the most common, skipping the biological risk assessment. This is required by both ISO 10993-1 and the FDA. This could trigger a hold. So remember, success in this part of your 510K depends on three things: clarity, traceability, and a strong, risk-based scientific rationale. Biocompatibility isn't just a checklist, it's a narrative backed by evidence, and eSTAR helps you tell that story, cleanly, logically, and completely. What's next? In our next video, we'll cover sterilization and software, two more areas that influence your device's safety profile and FDA review. We'll show how body contact, material selection, and labeling directly connect to your testing pathway, and how to map that in eSTAR. If this video helped, please share it with your team. See you in the next one.
Thanks for watching our 510K submission series, your step-by-step guide to navigating the FDA process with confidence using eSTAR. This content is educational and not a substitute for regulatory or legal advice. Always consult FDA guidance and a qualified expert for your device strategy.